So today we're starting with values and using black and white and creating a variety of the tones, of course your shades, as well as tints. Now, that's very important when you're going to do a particular color, especially when you're showing both shade as well as light that's on the object. So when you do a color mixture, say for instance, we've been using pink. So if you wanted to use the second thing, we've already colored like the tints, but we're going to do tones today. So you always start off with black, which is the shade, but you mix your black into the different piles of white that I had you set up. So you begin by adding black to the first white. Now, basically, if you're going to do like a really dark gray, you want to put your black beside your white and then just kind of mix it together until you get the darkest gray. Now, you always start with a dark gray so that when you do your scale down to the white, there's a real variety, like a contrast of the different values. So you find that even though you might have a value chart that you're going for, that you found online, you're going to create your own value chart so that when you go to do your color, you can use the different values that you've created today to actually create the color that you want, or the color value that you want. So an example would be if you're doing, say, a flower, and the inside of the flower might have a little bit of shade or shadow. You want to know how to mix the color into your value, your value into your color, so that you're not coming up with just a black color, which would make it look like a very damaged flower. So this is very important. We're not going to do color today. We're just simply going to create your values. So for this class, you should have, I think a styrofoam plate is good for your the color mixing. Use that for your palette, and then make sure you have a palette knife. Make sure you have cloth or paper towels to wipe your knife. You're not going to use a lot of water in this particular class. Make sure that you have a brush you're going to be using for your color swipes. You can just bring your journal that you have already and just do your color swipes on that journal, because that is your reference. So when you go to do your color, you have an exact recipe of how you did this. Now, you do need a pen because you can be writing down the different things that you create or the different values you create today. Before you, when you do your white, you probably need to use the medium with each pile of white, but don't overdo the medium because then it won't dry, your color won't dry. Just like a drop or two out of the medium bottle creates the consistency that you want for your full color mixing, practice today. So the important thing is when you use medium, you always mix the medium with the basic color. So for instance, if you were going to use pink throughout your color mixing, you would always use the pink, the little blob of pink that you're using for your values that you're making. You use that, you put the medium inside the pink and really mix it together, making sure that the paint and the medium is really mixed together. And that keeps your paint from drying. Mediums are wonderful to keep your paint in the same, the same consistency that it is, so you don't lose that when you mix medium with the paint. You also don't lose the saturation. So it doesn't change your paint. You can use water, but that's another thing. You can actually use water. I do lots of times I use water and not medium when I'm doing a very thin color wash that I want to start off on my painting. And that's fine. You don't need your medium for that. I think I think medium also can be thinned down, so it's not the same consistency as it is in the tube. So, or the bottle. Okay, so throughout the class, we will be working, and you can have, my question, you can actually ask questions. So I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye.